So you're getting ready for the IELTS test, and you know that being prepared is half the battle. Well, you've come to the right place. In this explainer, we are going to break down the entire test format, piece by piece, so you can walk into that test center feeling totally confident and knowing exactly what's coming your way.
All right, here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with a big picture overview. Then we'll walk through the major decisions you have to make right at the start. After that, we'll dive deep into each of the 4 sections, and we'll wrap it all up with a clear blueprint for your success.
Okay, first things first, let's zoom all the way out. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of question types and timing, you really need to have a solid understanding of what the whole test day experience feels like from start to finish. So what even is the IELTS test at its core? It's definitely not just some boring grammar quiz. It's actually designed to see how well you can use and understand English in real-life situations, like you would at work or at university. Here's the essential breakdown. You're being tested on 4 key skills: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. The first 3, listening, reading, and writing, are all done in one sitting, which takes about 2 hours and 45 minutes. Your speaking test, though, might be on the same day or a different day entirely. And for scoring, you get a band score from 0 to 9 for each part, and then an overall band score. Now, before you even start looking at practice questions, hold on. You've got 2 really big decisions to make first. And these choices are super important because they shape your whole study plan and what your test will actually look like. First up, are you taking the academic test or the general training test? It's pretty simple. If you're applying to a university, you need the academic version. If it's for work, immigration, or other training programs, you'll need general training. And you have to know which one you need because the reading and writing sections are totally different for each. Your second big decision is how you're going to take the test. You can go to an official test center and take it on paper or on a computer. Either way, you'll do your speaking test in person with an examiner. The other option is IELTS Online, where you take the test at home and do the speaking test over a video call. But just a heads up, the online at-home version is only available for the academic test for now. All right, now that you've got those big decisions sorted out, let's get into the test itself. We'll start with what are called your receptive skills. Basically, how well you can take in and understand English when you hear it or read it. The whole thing kicks off with the listening section. You'll have exactly 40 questions to answer. Every single question is worth 1 point. And hey, there's no penalty for guessing, so you should absolutely answer every single question, even if you're not sure. Think of the listening test as a ramp. It starts off with a pretty simple everyday chat between 2 people. Then it moves to a monologue, like a short announcement. Then things get a bit trickier with an academic chat between a few people, and it all ends with a pretty dense university-style lecture from one speaker. And they're going to throw a bunch of different question types at you. You'll see multiple choice, matching exercises, you might have to label a map or a diagram. It's really important to get familiar with all of these formats so that nothing takes you by surprise on test day. Now, this is maybe one of the most important and simplest things to remember. You have to pay attention to the instructions. If it says write no more than 2 words and you write 3, you'll get 0 points for that answer, even if the information is correct. It's such an easy way to lose marks, so always double check the word limit. Okay, next up is the reading section. Just like with listening, you've got 40 questions to tackle. But for this section, you have a whole hour, 60 minutes, to get through 3 different reading passages. In the reading section, how you manage your time is absolutely everything. Here's a great strategy. Try to spend only about 15 minutes on that first passage because it's usually the easiest. That way, you bank extra time, like 20 or even 23 minutes each, for the last 2 passages, which are almost always more difficult and complex. Okay, so we've talked about how you understand English. Now let's flip the script and look at your productive skills. This is all about how you create English, both in writing and in speech. The writing test is also 60 minutes long, but it's split into 2 parts that are not created equal. This is so important. You should plan on spending about 20 minutes on task 1 and a full 40 minutes on task 2. Why? Because task 2 is an essay, and it's literally worth twice as many marks as task 1. So what exactly is task 1? Well, it all depends on which test you're taking. If you're doing the academic test, you'll get some kind of chart or graph, and your job is to describe it. For the general training test, you'll have to write a letter for a specific purpose. Both versions need to be at least 150 words. Task 2, on the other hand, is the same for everybody. No matter which test you're taking, you'll be writing an essay. You'll get a topic or a question, and you'll need to write a well-structured response that's at least 250 words long. And that brings us to the final piece of the puzzle, the speaking test. It's actually pretty quick, just 11 to 14 minutes long, and it feels more like a friendly conversation than a scary test. It's broken into 3 little parts. First, some general questions about you. Then you'll talk about a specific topic for a minute or two, and you'll finish with a deeper discussion about that same topic. And there you have it. That's the entire IELTS test from top to bottom. So now that we've gone through it all, let's boil everything down into a final, simple blueprint that you can use to guide your preparation.
This is it. This is your cheat sheet for success. First, know which test you're taking. Then, learn the format and timing of all 4 sections like the back of your hand. During the test, please read every instruction carefully. Don't throw away easy points. And of course, the key to it all is practice. The more familiar you are with everything, the more confident you'll feel.
And at the end of the day, just remember this. Knowing the format isn't about memorizing rules. It's about getting rid of all the surprises so you can just focus on showing them what you know. Trust your preparation. You've got this. So you now have a complete map of the IELTS test. The structure isn't a mystery anymore. The format is clear. And that leaves just one question. Are you ready to start preparing? The blueprint is right here. What you do next is up to you.